Okay, everybody, welcome to the Rink podcast, episode 43. Puff, 43.
My boy Marty Biron.
Marty Biron.
Yep. Former NHL goaltender, and now current NHL broadcaster. He does stuff with us at TSN, and one of the all-time great guys.
I feel like the last few numbers from like episode 30 to now has been a lot of goalies.
It is. Well, we're in that goalie range, right?
Right, which was one. You told me which was 1 in 30.
1 in 30, but that's olden days. Goalies.
Olden days, but now it seems like 30 to like
30, 40.
When does it end? 50s, right into the 50s. Like,
yeah,
we're going to be goalies for a little while.
There was a couple 50s. There was a couple 50s. I think Trevor Kidd. I think he was number 50.
Huh.
But it'll start mixing into more.
Okay.
Like 43, I could have gone with Nazem Kadri too.
Oh, okay.
Leaf great.
Where's he now?
Calgary Flame.
Calgary. He's been there
Stanley
for a while
Cup champion.
Right,
he went to Calgary, I think, 2 years ago.
With Colorado, right? Was that right?
Yeah, he was with Colorado, won the Cup, and then he went to Calgary.
Yeah, right on. Okay, well, Puff, we have one of your favorite guests, or one of your favorite hockey.
One of my favorite hockey players.
One of your favorite hockey players as the guest today, as the GTHL. Coming on the pod, and one that I think you know because you watch a lot of Ted Reeves games. So we're really lucky today because we have some teammates of my son Ozzy joining the pod. They came up to me a couple weeks ago and said, "Hey, GCat, would you mind if we came on the pod?" And I was like, "Absolutely not." We put it out there, if you remember, back in December. Yeah. We said we'd love to have players, and so they approached me. I said, "Come on the pod." So we're really lucky to have them today. So our guests today are Cale Yo and Masi Hamalainen, which I always struggle with his last name. And when you know someone for so long and you want to say it properly, but you're always a little unsure on how to say it appropriately or right.
Yeah.
It's one of those names that I've always like stuttering across. So I just usually end with Masi on that one and don't go into the last name. But anyway, both are going to come on the pod today. We're going to talk a little bit about, the past year, what they're doing for training. They're in their first year of high school, how they're managing high school and hockey, and then what U16 will look like for them and some of the stuff they're looking forward to there. So we're really looking forward to a good interview with them. But Cale is a player that you have always talked to me about whenever you watch our games. Are you excited to interview Cale?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Very exciting.
Yeah. What do you think?
Great player to watch.
Yeah. Good. So with that, why don't we jump right into it? So here's our interview with Cale and Masi from the U15, soon to be U16 single A Ted Reeves Thunder. Okay. Welcome, hockey enthusiasts, to another episode of To the Rink. Today we have a great interview that we're about to have. We're really lucky. We have two young stars from the Ted Reeves U16 now. It used to be U15. We're on the edge of the U16 single A team. So
hold on a second, G. Tryouts have not happened, so I hope there's no team planning building going on.
Oh, right.
Illegal, typical Ted Reeves organization, not playing by the rules.
Disclaimer. Right. Okay, so we're former U15 players, hopeful U16 players for next year. They bring a lot of action to the ice. I watch a lot of games. They bring a lot of bring a lot of energy to the ice. So give us a warm welcome to a great duo. We have Cale, who I've given you each nicknames too. So Cale, Hot Hands Yo, and Masi, Hockey Smarty Hamalainen. Is that how you say your last name correctly? You got to correct me. It's been all these years. I want to make sure I say it right.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Hamalainen.
Okay, there you go. Good. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining the pod, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So before we get into it, we got a bunch of questions to talk about, both from the past few years of hockey and what next year looks like. But why don't we just start, Masi, why don't we start with you? Just tell us a little bit about yourselves, your hockey journey, and anything else you want to share off the get-go here.
Masi Hamalainen, and I've been playing hockey for quite a few years. I've been skating since I was about 4, and I play for the U15, U16 Ted Reeves Thunder, and I'm a defenseman.
Awesome. Okay. Always on Ted Reeves?
Yeah, I've been on Ted Reeves pretty much for as long as
Okay, good. Right on. Cale, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, my name's Cale. I'm also part of the U16 Ted Reeves Thunder, and I'm a right winger. I've been skating since I was about 4 too. I started off with Scarborough Ice Raiders Select, and then I moved to the Tornadoes, and I've been with Ted Reeves ever since.
Okay, awesome, good. All right, Puff.
Well,
we got our
have you
intros
guys
down.
Now, your head coach is Rob Granenstein.
Yeah.
Has he been your coach the whole way through?
Yeah, since U9 Select. Well, U8, but I would join the team second year of Select.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so why don't we jump in? So, Cale, I'm going to start with you. I watch a lot of games. You're pretty. You got some hot hands on the ice. You're catching the puck. You're going down the ice at a great rate, and you move the puck. It's very noticeable because whenever I have my parents there or Puffy's watched a game, whoever I'm always staying with is like, who's that yo kid and his hot hands. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your practice routine, how you've gotten these hot hands that you have, and what have you done off the ice to really sort of push yourself to be really sort of a clear a hockey player out on the ice that people notice?
Over the quarantine, I just worked a lot on shooting and stick handling because that's probably one of my most important parts is my shot. And IQ, my brother's pretty good. My brother plays AAA, so he's taught me a lot. And he has a lot of IQ too, so I just learn off of him from going to his games.
Well, that's nice.
What age?
You'll be happy you said that.
It was his draft year this year, but he's going into U18 next year or junior A.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So just for both of you, but we'll start with Masi. The U15 year is a huge year for kids in the GTHL because not only are they playing competitive hockey, they're also dealing with the adjustment to high school. And with high school, a lot more academics are in there. How have you guys, we'll start with you, Masi, but how have you adjusted managing both your workload on the ice and your workload off the ice?
Yeah, I've really just tried to put my all into my school and trying to manage my school and my hockey at the same time. But I've just pretty much done that by studying after school, going to hockey later in the evening. So finishing up my homework before I'm at hockey. So that's what I've been doing since I've been in high school.
How about you, Cale?
During high school, not the smartest kid, I'll be honest.
Come on, Cale.
Cale, don't sell yourself short.
Not the biggest fan of homework, but managing school and thing has been pretty hard, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Okay, there you heard it first from Cale. There, you got to do what you got to do. Good advice for everybody out there. So Masi, coming back to you, I've noticed through the time watching you play defense and you play right wing, and you go back and forth throughout sort of the couple bit of time I've noticed you. That's correct? You kind of go back and forth, correct?
Yeah. If we're missing a forward, I'm often the guy to go up and fill that position. Right.
So when you're going back and forth, I guess that throughout a season, do you care do you like one better than the other, or are you fine in either position?
I don't mind because I've always kind of been playing both positions. So no, I don't mind at all. So maybe what are the main differences then when you're, because you have to have one great thing I know about you is you have great hockey IQ. When you're out on the ice, it's very clear that you kind of know where the puck's going and you're in position a lot of times. And you're one of the kids I know that has sort of that intuition on where the puck's going, but it really changes between defense and when you're playing up. What are the main things you're thinking about in defense that help you? And then, second part is, when you're playing forward. Yeah, so when I'm on defense, I'm just really kind of focusing on my defensive part of the game versus when I'm on winger or center, I'm focusing more on where I need to be to get to that point where we can break out and get our offense going.
Awesome. So this is for both of you, but we'll start with Cale. I've got to watch a lot of you guys play over the years because I'm a big fan of Ozzie Caton. And the thing I noticed about your team, especially at about a U13, was you guys talked the most trash of any kids team I'd ever seen. And sometimes to your own detriment, because it would sometimes throw you guys off your game. As you guys had more success, especially last year when you went on your great playoff run, you noticed you guys had toned that down. Was that something you as a team decided as a group, hey, boys, we got to settle down with this? Or was the coaching staff on you guys to clean it up?
So when we played Don Mills last year in the East Finals, we were getting a little bit heated even before the game started. So our coach was telling us none of that crap. Can't be doing that. Like, it can cause us penalties even before the game starts.
So there's the coaches that have through the season has calmed you guys down.
Not me though. Not
you. Well, what do you think about the trash talk? Do you find that it's something that has helped you guys, like, you know, as an intimidation thing or getting in the other team's head, or do you think it's held the team, you know, given us, you know, more challenges as we've been going?
Sometimes we get held accountable for it because, like, instant karma comes back and we'll be up like 2-1 and then we'll talk crap and then we'll lose like 3-4-3 or something.
Right.
But usually it just affects us in the box because we take a lot of penalties with our team. We
do take a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
And why do you think that? Do you think we have a reputation out there? Do you think if the referees were listening, they would be, oh yeah, the U15 single A Reeves team's got a bit of a rep?
Yeah, I would say so. Well, I also had like 94 penalty minutes this year, so.
Whoa.
We were going for 100 in the last tournament, but we didn't get there.
Okay, Masi, besides hockey, what else do you guys do off the ice? So I know you talked a bit about school and we were out there, but what other things are you doing off the ice to, you know, help with your, you know, whether it's hockey or your overall athletics that you do to try to stay in shape throughout the season?
Yeah, it's really just getting out in the backyard, shooting, practicing my stick handling, practicing that, and also just I'm staying in shape with other sports I'm playing with my buddies or even with my brothers. So, yeah, just those keep me in shape. Yeah.
Cale, what about you? You got other things outside of hockey?
Yeah, I play baseball for fun with a bunch of the kids on the East Enders. So I do that throughout the summer a lot, and
there's no penalty box in baseball. So do you get do you kick dirt on the mound, and how does that work over there?
Yeah, it's calm, cool, collective game.
Okay, that's your calming zone, baseball.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Save it up till the regular season starts.
Well, we got the tryouts, as Puffy mentioned off the top there. We got some tryouts this year, early May, so we got to keep it cool through that, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Have you guys followed along with the playoffs in U15 Single A and Avenue Road's run to the title? And if so, were you guys surprised that they ended up being the top team in the GTHL East and West?
I was a little bit shocked when they beat Forest Hill, who a team had 3 losses all year, then goes out and beat them 3 times in a row. So something you're not expecting very much in a playoff series, especially with like the top team in all of Ontario. Yeah.
How about you, Masi? Were you surprised?
I wasn't really that surprised. I know they're a great team and they've got some great players on there, so it didn't really shock me too much.
Which team in your division do you guys like to beat the most? Who's your biggest rival?
Don Mills.
No hesitation from Cale. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely got to be Don Mills.
And why is that? Is that because we just have a long history with them? What is it with Don Mills? Give everyone a little bit of insight between the Ted Reeve, Don Mills, you know, frenemy, that thing that we got going on there.
Yeah, we've always kind of just had a kind of like a rivalry with Don Mills. So I don't know, and it's just kind of built up through the years. So yeah.
Cale, you didn't have anything to do with this?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, any history there you can shine on to or expand on?
Not really.
No.
They're a good team, right? Like they're physical, fast, good hockey team. So, but their kids are a little bit mouthy sometimes.
That's the what's the saying? That's the pot calling kettle black. Cool. Yeah, going back to looking forward to next year. So let's assume we make tryouts, and let's assume we all make the team fairly as part of the GTHL rules for the Ted Reeves U16 team. What does next year look like? What are you thinking about next year? Are you putting in any extra practice this summer? But then more importantly, what's your goals for next season? Why don't we start with you, Masi?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to next season. Nothing too much has changed it within our team. We've made, I think, only one, but I'm doing some spring tournaments, obviously. I'm doing a 3-on-3 tournament right now with a bunch of the other teams in the league, actually. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to getting back out there next season.
All right, Masi, the other thing I noticed about you is you're one of the, what I would call like a really reliable player when you're out on the ice. Means you're sort of a go-to guy. The other players are looking for you to either like pass you the puck or to see where you're at, to see if you're in position. And the one thing I've noticed about you is you stay pretty cool and calm and collective. No matter what is going on around you, Masi, you're always sort of in a real Zen state, if you will, but one that's aggressive, one that's playing hard, but you can see that you're steady Eddie. Any insight on how you stay so calm in these pressure situations?
No, nothing really too much. My dad's just always on me about keeping calm and collected, not getting into the shenanigans. So I kind of just always try and put that into my game and try and stay cool and collected.
That's good advice. Your dad is also very cool, calm, and collective, it feels like. I don't know him overly well, but I've known him over the years now, standing beside me. He's always very, very stoic.
Yeah, he's always very just tuned into the game.
He's very smart, yeah. I love standing beside him. He's always got good insight and commentary around what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Masi, what's your most memorable moment from your minor hockey career so far?
This is tough. I would say either our playoff run last year or our Rochester tournament win this year. That Rochester tournament was just so great, and it was such a cool opportunity to just be there and have the opportunity to move on to that Sunday and end up winning that. So I would say probably Rochester, because that was just such a cool experience.
Masi, were you part of the Cologne crew that spent their entire tournament shopping for different smells?
No, I actually wasn't. I know a few of the guys. I'm not too much into that, but I know a few of the other guys on the team are, but not specifically me.
Love it.
That's good. I just, on a side note, I just emailed Cale to see if he can jump back on. So we'll see if he can get back on. So Masi, what's the in the change room? As a parent, we don't get to be in the change room anymore, especially as you guys have gotten older. So being on a team when the kids were younger, you were in there obviously helping tie skates, and you were helping with team parties, and as a parent, you did get a dynamic of the team. But now, really, as a parent, I drop Ozzy off. You guys all go in the change room. You're on the ice. You all come out individually, and you're gone. Can you give us a little bit about what goes on in the change room? And how you guys are interacting with each other and the strong bonds you guys have built, and what do you guys do to really sort of get yourself ready for every game, whether it's a regular season game or the playoff, in that change room dynamic? So Cale, why don't we start with you?
Usually we start off with a pretty good warm up, and then when we get back to the room, we all have a good bond since we've all been playing on the same team for multiple years now, so we're all kind of get it. Right, and usually we just listen to music and get zoned in for the game.
Nice. What about you, Masi? Any routine or something you do before the game?
I don't specifically have a routine, but our change room kind of looks like. So we'll have our off ice warm up. we'll get back into the room. We're all like really good buddies, so we like to have fun on the team. So we like to have fun in the dressing room. And then when coach comes in, that's the time that we have to lock in and like listen to coach and listen to what he has to say and get ready for the game.
Right.
What's your guys' favorite arena to play in the GTHL?
Mine's probably either Herb Carnegie, St. Mike's, or Ted Reeve. I like playing at Ted Reeve. Nice and close.
How about you, Masi?
Yeah, I think I've got to say Herb Carnegie. Other than how far it is, it's just such a nice rink. Like the facilities are really nice. They've got a nice big ice there. So yeah, I've got to say Herb Carnegie.
A lot of people say that. We do on our Instagram sometimes we profile a rink and we do a little votes. And it's surprising how many comments or DMs we get that Herb Carnegie is the best one. I've never done a Herb Carnegie one, but people really seem to like that one. That's the best one. Not Scotia. No one ever says Scotia Pond, which is actually surprising because I would have figured it's a new arena with like 4 different rinks, but no, it's not the same.
Scotia Pond's good, but you just play there so much, so you just get used to it.
Right. Well, Ted Reeve, you play there all the time, no?
And now we do because we're in the home arena.
But that's your home barn. That's your home barn. Yeah. Okay, what's the prediction for next year, Masi? Ted Reeve Thunder, U16, Single A. What's the prediction? What's next year look like? You think?
I think we've got a great group of guys out next year. So hopefully, I think we'll do good. Yeah.
We're up against some of the same team. Avenue Root Ducks, we know they've really strengthened their bench. That bench there went from a solid player with some good players around it to seems like a really solid player with a lot of solid players around them now. You got Forest Hill, who came out this year with a couple new players, AA, they only lost 3 games. We ended up tying them one time in regular season. Really strong bench. You've got Don Mills that's coming back and going to be, same sort of Don Mills we know, which is scrappy, fast, getting under our nerves and using that to their advantage. And you've got North Toronto that seems to be sort of the like quiet assassins. We don't have a huge rivalry against them, but they always seem to sort of have our number. Those 4 teams seem to be in our atmosphere. And do you think that's going to be the same next year? And do you have any thoughts about how we can or how Ted Reeve will play against them next year? Cale.
I think we'll play pretty good against all those teams. Sometimes you might get an off game. Like we went out and beat Don Mills 3 times out of 5 games, and then they come out and then they beat us 5-0. Right. So,
and what do you think happens in those games? I know, like you can say, well, we just have a bad game, but what do you think really is the difference between the games you're winning and then you lose? Because that is a bit of a theme. We'll have a few and then we just get like wiped out. What happens there? You think?
Sometimes we just get too cocky, like, ooh, we're on a winning streak. Like when we went to go play the Raiders for the last time, we were on an 18-game winning, like undefeated streak after Rochester, and went in and didn't score 1 goal and lost the game 3-0.
Yeah, that's a good commentary. Actually, the Ice Raiders is another one that has our number, particularly this year. They were a team that weren't necessarily on our radar, and this year they were really tough for us to play against, and I think they're only going to get stronger again next year. So it's going to be a real competitive year next year. So I hope we're ready. I hope you guys do a lot of good training over the summer because I would love to see Ted Reeve be right up there with them.
Now, guys, in the GTHL, U14 and older, Single A, there's no body contact, but at AA and AAA, there is body contact. Do you guys wish there was body contact in all 3 of the divisions, or do you think it's good to have an option for kids who maybe aren't interested in playing full contact? The Masi, you can go first.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't mind playing contact at all, but I think it's a great idea to have that more competitive level that is also non-contact for the kids that want to play at that competitive level, but don't necessarily want to play with all that contact. So I think it's great.
How about you, Cale?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Obviously, I wish there was contact, but like maybe a bunch of kids who play Single A just don't want to play contact. Some of them want to have fun with a bunch of their buddies. But maybe if there was like a single A non-contact league like the OMHA and stuff, all of those leagues, yeah, it could be good.
Well, because it kind of goes back to one of the interviews we did a few weeks ago with Abu, the referee, and we were talking to him, if you remember, Puff, and he said, U14, U15, U16, single A no contact was really tough because the kids are too big, too fast, and too strong that you end up with contact anyway, but we're not playing contact, so it becomes a little bit of a danger zone.
Yeah.
If you remember that, Puff. Yeah, and I can see that.
Referee, yeah.
Yeah, and I can see that, with the guys now. They're like, they're young adults out there playing, and it's hard to slow down when you're gunning for
it. 100%.
Yeah. Cool. All right, gentlemen, before we wrap up, is there anything else we should be talking about to make sure we get out live on the podcast regarding this past year or next year? Cale?
No, not really.
You're good?
Yeah.
Masi, anything from you?
No, all I'm going to say is just look out for the U16 single A Ted Reeves Thunder next year.
Nice. Assuming we all make the tryouts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, if you guys have listened to the pod, you know that the last question always comes down to a little bit of music. And it's always great to get different perspectives of music. When we ask this question to a lot of our guests are older people generally, and we hear a lot of things like Def Leppard and AC/DC and, the odd Tragically Hip song. But I'm really looking forward to getting your guys' answers because it's a whole different generation of answers here, which I think has been one of the things that we've found throughout this season of the podcast. So with that, what's your pump up song, or what's the song you use to get yourself ready for games? Cale, why don't we start with you?
Usually I bring the big speaker to the games. We usually let Graydon play the music. Probably it's called Funny Toe or
Funny Toe.
Yeah, something like that. Funny toe or something.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Would your dad say that's his pump-up song, Cale?
No, my dad hates rap music.
Yeah, so what would be his song? How about what's Steve saying?
Probably some country music.
Oh, okay. Country. I thought you would go rock. All right, Masi, what about you? What's your song?
I don't have a specific song, but when we're out there at Ted Reeves, they normally playing Thunderstruck, so that's like a go-to song in the arena. But I don't have a specific song. I just have my whole playlist.
Do you guys love it when you guys skate on the ice at a home game at Ted Reeves and that song comes on? Is that something that is just part of the ingrained in the fabric of being a Ted Reeves Thunder?
I don't think I don't love the idea of it. I don't mind the idea of it either, but it's just always been something Ted Reeves has kind of done. So I just think it's really cool to just carry that on throughout the years. Yeah.
What about you, Cale?
I think it's pretty funny. I remember sometimes they don't play the greatest music in the greatest times. I remember when U14 first game, we were playing West Hill and we were losing 3-1 and they started playing these Fortnite music.
Okay. Didn't fit.
No.
Wasn't on brand. No.
It did not fit.
Well, that's good. All right. I didn't catch that one, but I wouldn't know what Fortnite song is or anything like that. But all right. With that, I think that's everything. We really appreciate you guys coming on the pod. This is going to be one of the last interviews of the season, so really appreciate you guys coming on. We're at the end of we're about to get into tryouts for your team, so we're interested to make sure you guys make the team for U16. So we'll bring that breaking news for next year.
I'm worried.
Yeah, and I'm sure all the good teammates and your coaches will be listening. So, really appreciate everything you do on the ice as well and off the ice. I think you guys have a great team, and it's really great to see you guys sort of grow up all together and do it, with Ted Reeves at the center of that. So thanks for joining us. With that, anything else left to say, Cale?
Masi Hamalainen scoring 5 goals next year.
All right. Nice. All right. Masi, anything else?
No, nothing. Just thank you guys for having us on the pod.
And a couple of great kids, these Ted Reeves. They have a bad rap in some circles, but not with this guy. I really like this group of kids. Those are great young men. I love the fact that it's very similar to Barrett's team. It's a group of kids that have been together for a long time, live in the neighborhood, and are friends on and off the ice. And that's really all you want from your kids from their minor hockey experiences, to meet a bunch of great kids and have a lot of fun and competing together. So
yeah, absolutely.
You got a good bunch there.
Yeah, they are a good bunch. I do think they get a bad rap a little bit. I do hear other teams' parents talking as they walk into our rink, or when I'm in the lobby. You can hear a little bit mid-season, end season as we're walking, because we've played them once or twice. You can definitely usually hear the chatter from the parents after the game sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's because I think the crew that we have at Ted Reeve has been together a really long time. Rob, the coach there, has really done a great job of trying to keep, the community of the team together the whole time. And, when you're with when you're with teammates so often and so much, it becomes like, a pretty confident group of boys out on the ice, I guess is the best way to say it,
Yeah.
But yeah, so
they've definitely matured for sure.
They've definitely matured. A bunch of them all go to high school together, and they're all together all the time. So it's a pretty special thing. I think one of the great things that hockey teams or teams in general do is, you get to meet your friends and they become friends for life. So I really do believe most of the guys there will be in touch for a long, long time as they keep going. But we're looking forward to next year. Hopefully tryouts is great. Yeah. Thank you for the reminder in the interview.
Yeah, tryouts they're very close. I think AAA tryouts start Monday.
Do they? Yeah, ours are the first week of May, I believe.
Yeah, and then there's a week of that, and then a week of AA, and then a week of Single A.
Yeah, so it doesn't. We don't stop.
No.
To the rink tryouts. We go right from training. Tryouts. Spring training. So that's good. But yeah, so we'll have another interview, and then we're kind of wrap for the season, I think, right, Puff?
Yeah.
So we got another week of episodes. I think we'll do another standard episode where I think we can wrap up all the rankings next week. And then we'll have one more surprise guest ending. And then we're done.
Yep. And then we'll wrap it for the season. A successful season one.
Successful season one. So I guess that would take us to 45 episodes roughly.
Yeah, I think we'll be about there.
I think that's a pretty good number. That's pretty good.
It's huge.
Yeah. That is huge. So, I'm looking forward to the next interview. We'll keep it a secret for now. Well, we won't let everyone know what we're going to do on that one yet.
Just it's a very successful GTHL coach.
Very successful GTHL coach. High profile. And so with that, if there's anything else for the week, Peter Puff, last week.
No, I think
playoffs here.
I think, playoffs are going to wrap up. We'll be wrapped up by the time this comes out. We will be the GTHL season will be officially closed.
Yeah. That's it, and we're right into tryouts, as we said. So, with that, is there anything else you want to say?
No, just
no.
Go Thunder.
Go Thunder. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for listening to the Rink podcast. We always appreciate you leaving a review, subscribing, telling your friends. Liking our Instagram, whatever those things are to help us keep going. We truly appreciate it. So please keep doing them on Spotify and Apple and all those great places, YouTube. Remember, you can always buy BioSteel with a great discount with your To The Rink podcast code. So just type in To The Rink when you're ordering your podcast or ordering your BioSteel. You'll get a great discount on all your products with them. And they've been doing great. BioSteel. I'm actually seeing BioSteel pop back up everywhere. I don't know, Puff. Have you seen it?
I see it everywhere now because there was a little stretch there where you couldn't find it because Barrett loves it. He always has it for his pregame drinks. So it's a lot easier to find now, which is great.
Yeah. And with that, we'll see you later this week for another episode of To The Rink. And other than that, have a great week, everyone. For those still in playoffs, good luck.